Yashodanandana Prajajanadana Yamuna Tira Yamuna Tira Bhagavatam Mahapurana ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaivam narottamam devim sarasvatim vyasam tato jayamudirayet. Nasta prayasya bhadresu nityam bhagavata sevaya. Bhagavati uttama shloke bhakti bhavati naishtake. Shinbata swakata krishna punya shavana kirtana. Hridantyasto yabhadrani vidunoti suritsatam. Krishne swadamo bhagate dhammagyana tabisaha. Kalonastadrisam mesa purana kudanodita. This Bhagavad Purana is as brilliant as the sun. It has arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied by religion, knowledge, etc. Persons who have lost their knowledge in the dense darkness of Kali Yuga should get light from this Purana. 9:24:35, 9th canto, final chapter of the 9th canto. There's about 20 verses at the end of this chapter which are very beautiful, describing Krishna. There's not many purports here, so maybe we'll be reading quite a bit. We don't have a French translation today. How many French? Everyone speaks a little English, okay. Shall I just carry on? Or you're just the only one? The manager decide, okay. Just carry on. It's up to you. Someone can summarize afterwards. Because it's just reading right now. Okay, text 35. Iti tasyam sa'adaya. Iti tasyam sa'adaya. The cup should not go on the same platform as the deity. The book is the deity. So you have to put it on the floor like this. Garabam Sudya Divam Gata. Garabam Suryo Divam Gata. Sajja Kumara Sanjagye. Sajja Kumara Sanjagye. Dvitiya Eva Bhaskaram. Dvitiya Eva Bhaskara. Suryo Divam. Dvitiya Eva Bhaskara. Hare Krishna. Iti tasyam sa'adaya. Kabam Suryo Dvisam Kata Sajya Kamara Sagyate Dvitiya Iva Bhaskara Iti Suryam Saadaya Garbam Suryo Divam Gata Sajya Kumara Sanjage Dvitiya Iva Bhaskara. Ladies. Iti Tasyam Saadaya Garbam Surya Divam Gata Sajya Kumara Sanjane Titiya Iva Bhaskara Iti Tasyam Saadaya Garbam Surya Divam Gata Titiya Iva Bhaskara. Word for word. Iti, in this way. Tasyam, unto her. Prita. Saha, he, the sun god. Adaya, discharging semen. Garbham, pregnancy. Surya, the sun god. Divam, in the celestial planets. Gata, returned. Sajja, immediately. Kumara, a child. Sanjagye, was born. Dvitiya, second. Eva, like. Bhaskara, the sun god. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. After saying this, the sun god discharged his semen into the womb of Prita and then returned to the celestial kingdom. Immediately thereafter, from Kunti, a child was born who was like a second sun god. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksusun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadada Shiva Sari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama. So if anyone's read the Mahabharata, then the son Kana, he became a great warrior and he was a great worshipper of the sun god, and he was fixed in his vow to worship the sun god every day and give in charity, and this actually turned into the favor of the Pandavas during the battle. So he had some divine weapon that was so powerful it would be able to kill Arjuna. So Krishna told Arjuna, you go at this time when he's doing his puja, and then you can ask for charity. Actually, I think it was Kunti who went. I can't remember. Anyone remember? So they were so when he finished puja, he's Indra. Indra in disguise. Acha. Great. So Indra came in disguise. After he finished his puja, came, said, oh, I need charity. Said, what do you want? I want the weapon. So when he gave that weapon, all the Pandavas relief. Karna was so powerful. But Krishna, he was the greatest challenge to Arjuna, apart from Bhishma. So when they were having their fight, Arjuna and Karna, Karna's chariot wheel got stuck in the mud and he couldn't move. And Arjuna was about to kill him, and then he said, I can't kill him because his wheel, he's got, you cannot kill. In Kshatriya code, if the other warrior has some mechanical problem, you cannot kill him. You have to wait. This is a chivalrous conduct. So Krishna says, kill him. Take him out. This He have to do it. So in this way, the Pandavas were successful, and righteousness, dharma, reigned once again upon the earth. Jai. Pandava Sena ki Jai. Text 36. I'll just read the English because there's no purport. Because Kunti feared people. Oh well, you will learn the story now. Because Kunti feared people's criticisms, with great difficulty, she had to give up her affection for her child. Unwillingly, she packed the child in a basket and let it float down the waters of the river. O Maharaj Parikshit, your great-grandfather, the pious and chivalrous King Pandu, later married Kunti. So she had the baby out of wedlock as a young girl, so she had to hide it. It's like Moses in the basket. He went down the river, and later he disguised himself as a Brahmin, and he approached Parshuram to learn the Kshatriya art. Was it Parshuram or Bhishma? Yeah. And so he was a little bit deceptive there. Parshuram wouldn't teach it to any Kshatriyas. Parshuram despised all the kings on the earth. He was the incarnation to drive away the impious rulers from Bharat. So one time during their training, he was learning the Kshatriya art. He was doing some service to his Kshatriya guru, and he had some thorn in his thigh or some I can't remember. Insect bite, yes. And when Parshuram saw that he had tolerated the pain, then he realized he's not a Brahmin, he's a Kshatriya. And he cursed him. He said, at your hour of need, you will fail. Something like that. So the Brahmins, they're very simple, their bodies they're very kind of not Kshatriyas. The Kshatriyas are very powerful. Okay, next verse, 37. Vridhachama, the king of Karusa, married Kunti's sister, Shrutadev, and from her womb Dantavakra was born. Having been cursed by the sages headed by Sanaka, Dantavakra had formerly been born as the son of Diti, named Hiranyakashipu. Text 38. King Dhrishtaketu, the king of Kekaya, married Shrutakirti, another sister of Kunti's. Shrutakirti had 5 sons headed by Santadana. 39. Through the womb of Raja Devi, another sister of Kunti's, Jayasena, begot 2 sons named Vinda and Anuvinda. Similarly, the king of the Chedi state married Shutashrava. The king's name was Damagosh. Text 40. The son of Srutashrava was Shishupal, whose birth has already been described in the 7th canto Srimad Bhagavatam. That's in brackets. Vasudev's brother named Devabhag had 2 sons born of his wife Kamsa. These 2 sons were Chitraketu and Brihadbhala. Wow, there's a lot of verses. Okay, I'm going to go quickly, okay? Unless we find something of interest. Vasudev's brother named Devashrava married Kangsavati, by whom he begot 2 sons named Suvira and Isuman. Kanka, by his wife Kankar, begot 3 sons named Baka, Satyajit and Purujit. All these people have a lot of these great souls have a pastimes in Krishna's pastime, have a role in Krishna's pastimes. King Srinjaya, by his wife Rastrapalika, begot sons headed by Vrisa and Dharmasana. King Shamaka, by his wife Sudabhumi, begot 2 sons named Harikesh and Hiranyaksha. Text 43. Thereafter King Vatsuka, by the womb of his wife Mishrakeshi, who was an Apsara, begot sons headed by Brika. Brika, by his wife Durviksi, begot Taksha, Pushka, Shala, and so on. Text 44. From Samika, by the womb of his wife Sudamani, came Sumitra, Arjunapal, and other sons. King Anaka, by his wife Kanika, begot two sons named Ritadama and Jaya. Text 45. Devaki, Podavi, Rohini, Bhadra, Madira, Rochana, Ila, and others were all wives of Anakandundubi, Vasudev. Among all, Devaki was the chief. Vasudev, by the womb of his wife Rohini, begot sons such as Bala, Cheda, Sidana, Durmada, Vipula, Dhruva, Krita, and others. In the Shastra, it says that Vasudeva and Devaki were previously great sages who wanted to have the Lord as their son. Drona and Dara. Actually, that was Yashoda and Nanda. Drona and Dara. So how it works is, because Nanda and Yashoda are the original eternal parents of Krishna, these demigods who wanted to have Krishna as their son, they're like a partial expansions. So they do tapa in their previous life, and it seems to be that they're materially becoming the parents of Krishna. But this is not the actual situation. What happens is, when in their next birth, when they're about to become the actual parents of Swayam Bhagavan Krishna, then the original Nanda and Yashoda then come into that birth, and the partial expansions of Nanda and Yashoda then merge with the original Nanda and Yashoda. So Krishna cannot be the child of anybody else. So this is one little backstory on this. Translation, text 46. Vasudeva, by the womb of his wife Rohini, begot sons such as Bala, Gada, Shadana, Durmada, Vipula, Dhruva, Krita, and others. From the womb of Pauravi came 12 sons, including Bhuta, Subhadra, Bhadrabahu, Durmada, and Bhadra. Nanda, Upananda, Kritaka, Sura, and others were born from the womb of Madira. Bhadra, Kaushalya gave birth to only one son named Kesh. Now here, name of Krishna's father and his uncle, Upananda. So, in the pastimes of Krishna, for it to be human-like, they have to have ancestors. Right? They have to have Krishna's got a grandfather and grandmother. So they have this sense that they're human-like. They have ancestors. They're always blessing Krishna after the demons come and try to kill Krishna. They get the Brahmins, they do auspicious mantra, may you live a long life. So Krishna has the best of both worlds. His pastimes are all eternal, but he has the idea that they're not eternal by the influence of Yoga Maya. So he's enjoying both aspects of existence. Yeah? We have our mother and father, but they get very old and sick and they die. And then we have our children and we get very old and sick and we die. But in this Leela, there is this is my beautiful mother and father, this is my uncle, my grandfather, these are my brothers, my sisters, this is my friends. They're enjoying it forever, but they don't feel that, they don't think this is forever. They're praying to Lord Narayan for protection. Nanda Maharaj chants japa of Lord Narayan mantra. He feels, he's a devotee of Narayan, Nrsimha Devi worships also. Sometimes he goes to the forest for a break from all his kingly duties, family duties, all his cowherd duties. He goes to the forest to chant japa. And he chants Om Namo Narayan, but as soon as he starts to chant, he just starts thinking of Krishna. And he's upset with himself that he can't fix his mind on the Lord. And he just becomes absorbed in love for his son. This is part of the Leela of God. So our our life is a reflection of this eternal existence, where Krishna enjoys like this. It's not that we are first and we base our speculation that this is what God is doing. No, God did it first. He created this Leela. This is his Leela Shakti. So he's enjoying, this is, for him, this gives him the most pleasure. Narayan, Narayano Tvabedepi, Surupaya, Rasanat Krishate Krishna, Rupam Esa Rasastita. So, as Lord Narayan and Krishna, we compare, they're both the same. Lord Narayan is the Supreme Lord, and Krishna is also the Supreme Lord. He's the origin of Lord Narayan. But his pastimes are full of more sweetness and more loving exchange. So Krishna is Rupame Sarasastita. He's higher than Narayan. And how do we know that? By his pastimes, by the sweetness of his pastimes. Maduram Maduram Metan Mangalam Mangalanam. Sakrid Nigamavali Chits Satphalam Chit Sarupam Sradaraya Halaya Nadamatram. So the Krishna is the sweetest of all sweet things. He's the most auspicious of all auspicious things. As Narayan, he's perfect. As Dwarkadish, he's more perfect. And as Krishna, he's most perfect. Hare Krishna. I'd read some more. So we get to at least, we get to this little purport here. From the womb of Purdavi came 12 sons. Oh, we read that one, excuse me. Text 49. Vasudeva, by another of his wives, whose name was Rochana, begot Hasta, Mangala, and other sons. And by his wife, named Ila, he begot sons headed by Uruvalka, all of whom were chief personalities in the dynasty of Yadu. Now, Sukadeva Goswami is speaking to Maharaj Parikshit. Maharaj Parikshit is the emperor of the whole world. He's the greatest king on the planet. So he is very interested in, because they're a contemporary. He's a contemporary king. So this is for Parikshit, and then all the other sages, they have interest in this. For us, it's like, wow, what's this got to do? But as Prabhu was saying the other day, Gopaswami, these names are all full of wonderful potency. Just by hearing them, our punya increases, bhakti punya. Text 50. From the womb of Dritadeva, one of the wives of Anakadundubi, Vasudeva, came a son named Viprista. The sons of Shantideva, another wife of Vasudeva, were Prashama, Prasita, and others. 51. Vasudeva also had a wife named Upadeva, from whom came 10 sons, headed by Rajanya, Kalpa, and Vasa. From Shideva, another wife, came 6 sons, as Vasu, Hamsa, and Suvangsa. In Krishna's Leela, there's one time there's a yajna with Vasudeva and all his wives. And Krishna's there and some sages are there and they perform a thing. And it said when Vasudeva was there with all his wives, he wore simple cloth and all his beautiful effulgent body was there with all his wives. It looked like demigods, When Krishna is on earth performing his Leela, the demigods get confused. They think we're on earth looking at the heavenly planets. They're like totally bewildered because Krishna brings all this opulence to earth which exceeds their own opulence. So let's just see how many sons Vasudeva had. But can he match Krishna? No. Krishna had 16,108 wives, and for each of them he built a palace, and for each of them he had 10 sons. For Krishna's dynasty, there was 36 million acharyas to teach the children. Just imagine how many children there were. So it's all inconceivable opulence. Vasudeva also had another wife. I always read that one, excuse me. I'm nearly 2 more verses and then purport and we finish, okay? Thank you for your patience. Text 52. By the semen of Vasudeva in the womb of Devaraksita, 9 sons were born, headed by Gada Vasudeva, who was religion personified. Also had a wife named Sahadeva, by whose womb he begot 8 sons, headed by Shruta and Pravada. Text 53 to 55. Hare Krishna, good morning. The 8 sons of Sahadeva, such as Pravara and Sruta, were exact incarnations of the 8 Vasus in the heavenly planets. Vasudeva also begot 8 highly qualified sons through the womb of Devaki. These included Kirtiman, Susena, Bhadrasena, Riju, Sumadana, Bhadra, and Sankashan, the controller and serpent incarnation. The 8th son was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. The highly fortunate Subhadra, the one daughter, was your grandmother. He's saying to Parikshit, your grandmother was Subhadra. What happened to Subhadra? She married Parikshit's grandfather, Arjuna. Arjuna's son was named Abhimanyu. He was killed unfairly in battle against the Kauravas. Arjuna cried a million tears, and the next day he killed Jayadratha. So Abhimanyu had a son in the womb of his wife, Uttara Parikshit. So therefore, Subhadra married Abhimanyu. She was widowed. Then Parikshit is her son. So this verse, we will read the purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. The 55th verse says, Svayam Eva Hari Kila, indicating that Krishna, the 8th son of Devaki, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Svayam Eva Hari Kila. Kila means what to speak of. What to speak of. So he's naming all these names, and then what to speak of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God, Swayam Bhagavan. Indicating that Krishna, the 8th son of Devaki, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna is not an incarnation. Although there is no difference between the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, and his incarnation, Krishna is the original Supreme Person, the complete Godhead. Incarnations exhibit only a certain percentage of the potencies of Godhead. The complete Godhead is Krishna himself, who appeared as the 8th son of Devaki. Hare Krishna. Purnashwarya Bhagavan. Krishna's Purnashwarya. He is complete. Purnam. Purnashwarya means he has all opulences. All 6 opulence in completeness. He is everything. He is a source of all other incarnations. Now how do we know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? By his pastimes. Did Nrsingadev have a rasa dance? No. No. Even Ramachandra, he did not have a rasa dance. Only Krishna. Of all Krishna's pastimes, his rasa leela. Rasa leela means he's dancing with the gopis under the full moon. Then they're wandering along the banks of the Yamuna, having picnic, bathing in the Yamuna under the silver moonlight. And Krishna is dancing with, next to each gopi, millions and millions of them, supreme enjoyer, unparalleled existence. Don't think Krishna is a sense enjoyer. There's no sense gratification in the spiritual world. Why would sometimes devotees think, oh, Krishna is allowed to enjoy senses, but we're not, therefore he's the greatest. But this is not the correct understanding. Why would Krishna tell the whole world that the path of sense gratification is bad and they should surrender to me and follow dharmic principles and gradually elevate yourself to bhakti and worship me in pure love? And then himself be a sense enjoyer. He would be the greatest hypocrite. So in Krishna's Leela, there's no sense gratification. It's only based upon a pure love that we have, transcendental exchange of loving feelings, pure devotion that we have no access to, we cannot conceive of. So Purnashwarya, he's complete. He's the most beautiful. Of all his qualities that he's complete in, his beauty is the most important. His beauty is the most important, and that regulates all the other qualities. He's a supreme beauty. So in our society, Krishna consciousness society, we are through the grace of Balaram, Lord Nityananda, Lord Chaitanya. Balaram is Swayam Prakash. He's Adiguru. He shows the world Krishna. This is a Supreme Personality of Godhead. So only Balaram, of all the expansions, plenary portions, etc., only Balaram also has Rasa dance. Only Balaram, nobody else. He also has Ras Leela with millions of gopis. So Krishna and Balaram, they are Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Balaram is manifest in the heart of the pure Guru devotee who shows the whole world. Prabhupada's so powerful, he spread the name of Krishna throughout the whole planet Earth. Nobody has ever done such a thing in history of the world. So he's Shaktivesh, avatar empowered, Guru, Acharya. He's given us all, us fallen souls. We are all ordinary people, but we are able to make some advancement in spiritual life by the mercy of the Guru, by the mercy of the Acharya. So there's many proofs. If you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj is constantly emphasizing and showing how Krishna is the original Supreme Personality Godhead, Swayam Bhagavan. Krishna's two Bhagavan Swayam. He's not an incarnation, he's Avatari, he's the source of all other incarnations. And he has all power. Therefore his Leela is a supreme Leela. These 8 sons here, 7 sons are mentioned. So you know the pastime. They all were killed by Kamsa. And then the 7th son was Shankarshan. But he was born in the wife of Rohini and had a miscarriage. She had an apparent miscarriage and he was transferred to Vrindavan. And then a daughter was born. And they said to Kamsa, please don't kill the baby girl, she's a girl. She won't kill you. So Kamsa was a little bit thinking about it. Then he decided, I'll kill it. And he threw the baby girl on the floor and she turned into Kali Durga Devi and she chastised Kamsa so heavily. Says, Kamsa, you rascal. And he had a kind of repentance and he prayed and begged for forgiveness, etc. And so these are 6. You see, it's mentioned that the demigods came. So remember when Lord Brahma was praying for Krishna to come, many demigods were coming from the heavenly planets and taking birth. This is all their birth pastimes. So who are these demigods? They're the ones that are ready now to go back to Godhead. So they have to come to earth and associate with Krishna to be able to be qualified to go back home, back to Godhead. Because the many demigods are great devotees. So when Krishna comes, they're all joyful, they all take birth. Krishna orders them, you take Sadhu dynasty, you take birth here. And then by Krishna's association, they're able to finally perfect their lives. So these 6 demigods were killed. There's also some backstory which I don't know well enough. And Prabhupada explains Kama, Krodha, lust, anger, greed, pride, envy, illusion, and other other anathas, these 6 deaths of these 6 children represent the anathas in the heart, that we have to cleanse our heart before then we can bring Krishna into our heart. So part of sadhana bhakti is to get free from the horrible material world, and it's a very low sense gratification, to regulate our life and get the higher taste. Vishaya vinivatante raso pyasyo raso vajam param drisva nivatite. This is possible by the power of the holy name of Krishna and the association of devotees and the path of bhakti. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. I'll stop now. And then tomorrow is 56, Lochan, 56. This last part of the 9th canto is very, very beautiful, incredible. And there's lots of purports now. It's all about Krishna, and there's a very famous verse coming up. It's going to be really nice. Yashananam makara kundala charukana. But Krishna is Nityotsavam. If you see Krishna, you see a festival. Nityotsavam na tatrapu drishyabi. And you drink nectar through your eyes. Not through your mouth or your ears, through your eyes. When you see Krishna, it's like drinking nectar. And that nectar is so intense that blinking becomes a big problem. One moment of not seeing Krishna. So in the spiritual world, it's like poison when you cannot see Krishna. Because the pleasure from seeing Krishna is so intense. Pibancho drishibi, naryo narascha, kupita, udita nimescha. Sorry, Prabhu, what were you saying? I misunderstood what you were saying.
No, I was just wanting to hear his famous...
Okay, I said it. It's, yeah? Brojat kapola, subagam, havilasa hasam. His cheeks are bright, he has shark-shaped earrings, he is smiling beautifully. Yashananam makara. Makara means shark-shaped. Kundala charukana. Brojat kapola subagam, havilasa hasam. He's smiling and very beautiful. Nityotsavam. Seeing Krishna is like seeing a festival. And one moment of not seeing is like devastation. The Creator is a fool for creating this blinking. He's a fool. The fish, they don't blink. Fish don't blink. So sometimes the gopis say, I wish I was a fish, then I could just see Krishna as he wanders along the river Yamuna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Yes, please.
Thank you very much for this class. You said that self-purification doesn't exist in the spiritual world.
Yeah.
And in one of the classes of Srila Prabhupada that we listened to here, you said that self-purification is one of the qualities of Krishna.
Wow. One of the qualities, one of his...
one of the attributes, one of the characteristics of Krishna. And it made me think that maybe this is why we want to enjoy our senses, because if we are constant touch with Krishna, then
Yes.
this desire to gratify our senses comes from Krishna.
Of course. Yes, that's correct. So he's the greatest enjoyer, but his enjoyment appears to be like sense enjoyment, but it's imbued with such pure love. There is no lust. So it's not really sense enjoyment, because Krishna wants to taste love. Patram puspam palam toyam. If a materialistic person offers Krishna, and if a non-devotee offers Krishna the most opulent feast, he will not touch it. He will not even look at it. But if a devotee just offers one flower with 1% of bhakti, he will take it. So we have a few tiny amount of bhakti. So Krishna is accepting. But in the spiritual world, they have 100% bhakti. So Krishna's enjoying like anything, because they all have pure love. Krishna is Atmarama, self-satisfied. He doesn't need anything. You cannot give him anything. Sometimes we think, oh, Krishna needs my service, ISKCON needs... But Krishna can make 1,000,000 servants in 1 second. He doesn't need anything from us. He only wants love, pure love without any selfish desire. So in the spiritual world, everyone has that pure love to 100%. So they're living in the spiritual realm, and Krishna is enjoying like anything. And the so-called sense activities like dancing and singing and music, it's just an expression of pure love. It has nothing to do with sense gratification or lust. It's so amazing, the love, they're so unselfish, they feel 1,000,000 times more happiness when someone else gets Krishna's attention. In the spiritual world, in the material world, I'm happy when you pay me attention. And if someone else gets attention, I'm not happy. But in the spiritual world, it's the opposite. Their love is so pure, we cannot conceive. Prabhu.
The underlying quality of that love is giving, whereas in the material world, love is taking.
Yeah.
And so Krishna, you can see, I mean, we are living in this world, which is simply a manifestation of Krishna's giving.
Yeah.
He's the greatest servant in that sense.
Yeah.
He gives everything. He gives our weather, our food, our trees, it's all Krishna's giving. And our mentality is taking it. That's why we're in the material world. We cannot be in the material, in the spiritual world. This is taking mentality. And so even Krishna's love is completely based on giving. And so Gopi's love also is completely based on giving. And that makes the ecstasy that there is no ulterior motivation. Either.
Thank you. So everything is Krishna's mercy. Even this material world that we're able to enjoy sense gratification is Krishna's mercy. And yes, we are, by Amdriti, we've taken on Krishna, we're imitating Krishna's position as the enjoyer. We've forgotten who we are, we're his servant. So yes, that's correct.
How to always remember ourselves, because we tend to forget when we do like services. Okay, we do that for Krishna before the service and after the service. And to just like remember that mood all during the day, because maybe at the beginning of the day we're like, oh, and then we forget.
Yeah.
Take over, and then we forget again.
Yeah.
Like,
That's right. Like in the morning program, you feel all Krishna conscious. As soon as you walk out the door, like I have to drive to the temple in London, so as soon as I get in my car, I'm swearing at all the other drivers, and I forget everything. This is our misfortune, but by practice.
Maybe some tips, you can make some prayers before.
Prabhupada said, if you chant 16 rounds in one go, very intensely, this is a tip Prabhupada gave. So anyway, the more we can intensify our when we're actually got time to chant and read, if we do it with high quality, this will help us when we have to go out and deal with everything. Arjuna, he didn't want to fight, but after Krishna told him to fight, then he was purified and he fought. So he wasn't thinking of Krishna all the time when he's doing the arrows and that he had to engage all his senses. But he was fully purified. So, yeah, that's much. And you'll surely think of Krishna sometimes. So ekagrata, the Shastra says, that moment when you're able to concentrate on Krishna, like every day we chant Hare Krishna, we have kirtan. Sometimes we're not getting much taste. But the time when you get taste with reading and chanting, that's when you should do it as much as possible. Increase. When the time comes where you get Krishna's mercy, then use that time don't do something else. You know, chant more. Does that make sense? Okay. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna. Ekadasi Brat ki jai.